living my best life.
Top
Hey,
10 yet?
What?
Top 10 yet?
Oh God. I'm gonna watch the Batman again, but it's on HBO Max now, so I don't have to go to the theater. Just watch it on my television.
Yeah, I can see that. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode. Oh, it's not episode 27. It's episode 28. Episode 28 of Project Console. Um, episode 28 Project Console. The Kiddy jar, and yeah. Before we get into the topics, I'd like my panelists to introduce themselves. Starting with Jewel.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Project Console. I'm Jory Iano Starn. If if I got the title right, oh boy, viewer discretion is going to be advised.
It's a Red Fox on a prior to BS Busters. I'm just glad to be on another one.
And this is Kenoshi Abominito. Uh, Glad to be hosting another one. Anyway, our first topic is Sony is. Yeah, Sony is. Sony is investing big into Epic Games, and they are investing over $1 billion into Unreal Engine 5. So I guess they are trying to make moves because Unreal Engine is a very catch-all engine, and people you rent out Unreal Engine because it's in the long run cheaper than building your own engine, and uh, and they are probably trying to position themselves to make themselves the lead platform for developing for Unreal Engine. Doesn't really make great deal of sense since PS5 and Xbox Series X are using the same
Generally
things.
the same architecture. Yeah, I don't think it's about the Unreal Engine. I think it's about Epic's
Grasp.
meta. Well, the meta universe they're creating with Fortnite. Like, if Epic basically branches out Fortnite into what they want to branch it out into, they branch out Fortnite into what they want to branch it out into, and all the other shit that Epic is essentially trying to create. They branch all that stuff out, and you've got what is essentially a meta universe of gaming.
Yeah,
And that's what I mean. Sony says, "Yeah, we're going to create our own meta universe," but that would take like at least 10 years, whereas Epic's already done like 5-6 years of the groundwork already.
yeah.
So why, you know?
Not to mention Sony, unlike Nintendo and Microsoft, or well, I don't know. I think they're more into the whole VR thing than Microsoft and Nintendo, but at the same time they're kind of not because I don't really see them like they. I remember they pushed their headset, a great deal for the before it came out. It's advertised everywhere, and it just slowly just seemed to be non-existent. Like it wasn't, they didn't really push it very much because of it was a $400 peripheral.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to pay. Not, I mean, and the whole VR thing is a pretty niche idea anyway. It's
Yeah.
super expensive. The PlayStation, Sony's one is the cheapest one, but it's still super expensive. So it's at the time it was as much as getting a PS4.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, let's look at industry trends. No peripheral that someone has had to buy for their console has ever made a huge market splash.
yeah, you figure.
Ever.
I think that Sony's best bet is to make like an Oculus Quest thing that is compatible with the PS4 or PS5, but can stand on its own as its own sort of console.
Yeah, but it's
But
still not going to make the type of numbers that Sony wants. They have
yeah,
to connect it to their console.
yeah, I mean you're right, but yeah, people would probably be more willing to. You'd probably. I'm not saying you'd see a huge margin. I mean, if it was not only compatible, say it was not only compatible with their console, but also other things too, like
Yeah, but
instead of
Sony's not going to want to do that because they want proprietary everything. Like
yeah,
you got to use our stuff with our stuff.
yeah, I understand that. It's just again, we go back to all the way back in the golden age of Sega and Nintendo, where Sega just kept charging. They kept putting out these peripherals for the Sega Genesis, and
Well, I mean, every console throughout the years has had some type of weird peripheral, and it didn't really do all that well. Like
no,
Nintendo in Japan had like the Nintendo modem that could let you like buy stocks and stuff,
yeah,
and do rudimentary emails and stuff like that. That didn't work on the Famicom.
You can even
Um,
do horse betting.
or
yeah,
the
yeah, like like the thing is that, and this is just like a relic of consoles, is that however much you spend on your console, that's like it's I bought the console. Everything I need to play my game should come in the box. I don't want to buy any extra junk just to play something else. And Sony hasn't really cracked that nut. No one's cracked that nut. Sega couldn't do it. Nintendo couldn't do it. Microsoft couldn't do it. No one can do it, and that's okay.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, and not to also mention the expansion pack, which only worked for like 2 games.
Yeah, but the expansion pack came with the games.
Yeah, yeah,
Like if you got Majora's Mask, if you got Donkey Kong 64, if you got Perfect Dark, if you got Conker's, well, no, just those 3 games. It came with the expansion pack, and then the expansion pack actually enhanced a lot of other games. Like if you played Gauntlet Legends, if you wanted the 4-player mode, the expansion pack helped. If you even played games where it said, "Oh, weren't expansion pack compatible," you still got a smoother gaming experience. For example, Rogue Squadron with the expansion pack played the pixels were a lot smoother, the draw distance was a lot better, and that was a launch title for the N64 with the
and then
expansion pack.
and then Rayman 2, I know had an expansion pack mode on it that made
Yeah,
things look a little better.
yeah. If
But
you include the peripheral with the game and it can be used on other stuff, it does okay. But asking someone who spent $500 or $450 on a console, yeah, you want to play these VR games, most of which aren't very good anyway. That's another $300. I mean, most people who buy games are going to be like, no.
F that.
yeah, not to mention the VR games aren't very good. Like a lot of the VR games I see just aren't very good.
No, their first person games converted into VR. Like the best VR game I have played is Half-Life Alyx. That is the best VR game I've played, and it's really good. I'm not gonna lie, Half-Life Alyx is great, but
One of the more interesting things, it's more of an independent venture, but Linus Tech Tips had a video about this. It was maybe a few weeks ago where somebody was creating a peripheral that allowed you like a glove, think of the Power Glove, but it actually works. Uh, basically,
Works.
essentially, you can move your hand freely. So what your hand does, is what the hand would do in, say, the video game.
So
Uh,
it's 1-to-1 with your hand.
yeah, I mean, it's still janky. It's still a work in process, but the idea was pretty interesting. So, I mean, if you get to the point where you don't have to, you know, wave wands around, and you can just move your hands, and the controller's the size of, typical, or you can get the controller in different sizes, different like glove sizes.
I'm
Cause
not.
but
Hmm.
that could be interesting. But
I mean, it's a cool idea, but the issue you run into there is for more demanding games, like the game literally is going to is going to have to dedicate processing power to that controller on top of running the game.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, the project is something that's obviously a work in process. It's not, there are obviously people working on it and implementing their ideas, but it's not perfect. It's not perfect.
I mean, I'm
But
not against it. I'm just saying that uh like what you have the topics you brought up are very interesting, but
But
I don't see it being a major industry changer. And at this point, I would rather have people put energy into like things that we know can work
yeah, yeah,
than trying to reinvent the wheel into new stuff on the off chance it might turn into a thing.
I'm not saying it's gonna take the world by storm or anything. I just found it. Personally
found it
found it
interesting.
interesting, but it's like, but at the same time, it's like, this is cool for a very small crowd of people. It's people. I don't think most people are gonna want to put something on their head like it. I'll become more interested in VR gaming when it's like a pair of sunglasses you just put on your face or something
I
like that.
mean,
I don't
That'll
know.
take a while.
I'm not against VR. It's just most of the VR I've done is either A, disorienting for me, or after about 30 minutes, it starts to hurt.
Yeah, I
So
don't
I'm
like
like,
it. I don't like it. I remember I was at a friend's house. When was that? A couple of years ago. Yeah, it was about 2 3 years ago, and he had the PlayStation VR, and we were playing a series of mini games. Um, I didn't like it that much. It wasn't. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun to just kind of be able to just freely move your head and look around the game world. But after probably like 20 or 30 minutes, I was just kind of like, okay, this is. I'm good.
Too much.
I'm over this. Yeah, I'm over
yeah,
this.
for me, VR, like I said, has just been kind of um, like the only VR that I've played, like there's Oculus Quest, which the second one, the second version of Oculus, which I've tried it and it didn't hurt my eyes, but most of the games for Oculus Quest, I'm like, yeah, this is nice for 10 minutes, but I wouldn't want to play any substantial amount of time on it. It's not worth me spending $299 or however much Oculus Quest is. Um, like I said, the only good VR that I've seen is with the Valve Index, and that's like $1,000.
Yeah.
And you need a good PC to use it. But if you have a good PC, they have a game that was built primarily for VR, and it's Half-Life Alyx, and that one's great.
Yeah.
But like I said, who wants to put $1,000 down on VR? Like it's not even really, it's not even technology. It's that most of the games aren't being built primarily from the ground up for VR. They feel cheap and like tech demos
Yeah.
and bad tech demos, not good tech demos.
Going back to Sony real quick and the Epic Game, $1 billion. This might be a long shot, but it's possible that You know, seeing Microsoft make all these acquisitions and Blizzard and Bethesda, or not Bethesda, but the basically Bethesda's umbrella. I forgot the name of the company.
ZeniMax.
ZeniMax. Yeah, that's it. I wonder if they're just trying to stay somewhat. I mean, it's not like they're completely irrelevant, but trying to be as relevant, or you know, be even more relevant than Microsoft. Because last couple of months they haven't been selling as many consoles as Microsoft or Nintendo. Because I know
Yeah.
it was like February. Sorry.
No, I get what you're saying. I think that you're right. I think Sony, like everyone's like, well, Sony has money too. Sony has money, but they ain't got money like Microsoft has money.
Yeah.
Like Sony, like remember, because like when Microsoft said, yeah, we're gonna buy Activision Blizzard, and that was like a 73, like $85 billion acquisition, just cash money.
Yeah.
And Sony's like Counter Strike is we bought Insomniac. It's like, come on, man. You know what that's like? That's like a kid coming to school on game day, and they bring like all their consoles to hook up to all the TVs in the AV room. They're like, yeah, I got a Sega Genesis, I got a Super Nintendo, I got a TurboGrafx 16. Oh, and I brought the Neo Geo. And then some kid's like, I can join too. I got a Tiger Electronics. Like, get the hell out of here with that bullshit. And that's what it felt like with Sony's acquisition of Insomniac. Because even the money, like Microsoft's like, yeah, we're gonna spend like $85 billion to buy Activision Blizzard, which is a trash company. Don't get it twisted. And Sony's like, we spent $800 million to buy Insomniac. It's like, come on, man.
Microsoft's like,
there's better things that you could do with all that money.
It's like we could buy 10 of those. We could buy 10 Insomniacs.
More than that. They could buy 100 Insomniacs and plus have some money left over to buy some other stuff too. So yeah, like basically what I'm saying is that Sony doesn't have that type of money. People are like, they should buy Ubisoft. Do you know how expensive it would be to buy Ubisoft? Like you're talking, okay, if Activision Blizzard, like Ubisoft is right now the biggest third party in the industry. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, Activision Blizzard, Microsoft got them for $85 million, and that's because of the bad press and their stock going down. Ubisoft has had bad press too, but it's their stock is stabilized. Like, in order for Sony to buy Activision, to buy Ubisoft, they'd have to spend at least $100 billion, and Sony ain't got that type of money just lying around.
Not to mention,
I was about to say,
not only do you have to buy the company, but you also have to buy their debt too. So,
well, I think Ubisoft, in terms of debt, is okay, but the problem is that they also have to buy all those HR problems, all those unhappy employees, all those problem employees who weren't fired but were shuffled around. Those people who were shuffled around different departments so that people forget. Kind of like the Catholic Church. Hey, that priest touched my kid. Oh, we'll just move him to another parish and just over there. Don't pay attention to that. That's what they did in Ubisoft. Yeah, we're investigating this. Actually, we're not. So I mean, like, does Sony want to do that? No company. Like Microsoft is doing it because they're getting a good deal. But if they can pull it off. But Sony doesn't have the money and they don't have the resources to really pull it off. Unless they over leverage themselves in order to do it. And even then, there's no guarantee that it's going to pay off in the back end. So, yeah. If Sony's going to acquire, it's going to be more small, like mid-tier studios.
Yeah, and the whole I know people are mad. I guess people are mad about this. the rumor, or it seems less of a rumor now, that Microsoft is buying Priority to get the chips needed to manufacture their consoles so they can get more consoles out. It's just kind of like, isn't that somebody? Isn't that what a lot of these companies do already? They bid for priority when it comes to these various chips. I mean, it's just
Yeah, I mean, but that's not a bad thing. That's
yeah,
like all this stuff is being like, unless you're Intel, where you basically have your own fabs. All these companies have to basically bid on getting the assembly lines to get this stuff made.
yeah.
Unless they're like Nintendo, which are using an old chipset where they can use like a second or third tier assembly, set of assembly lines to make that, because it doesn't need the top of the line material and specificity.
Specifications.
No, specificity. All that type of that certain level of precision in the manufacturing process. But if you're like Microsoft and Sony, which they're using stuff that was top of the line like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, yeah, they need the best stuff, and Microsoft has the money to get those fabs. You know, they have the money. Satya Nadella gave them a big fat check, like Steve Ballmer back in the day, and they can do whatever they want because they have the money.
Yeah.
Okay, they have the money. All right. Sony is like a dude who's dating a girl, and he's on a McDonald's and Burger King budget, and she's going with a dude who's on a 3-star Michelin restaurant budget. And he's like, I can't believe I'm being outmaneuvered by this dude who makes a lot of money. Really? You're surprised by that? Like,
Yeah.
You basically took your girlfriend on your anniversary to McDonald's, and she could go with that guy over there and go someplace where
She can
like
go to
it's
Ruth Chris or Fleming's or
nah, man. She can go with a guy who's gonna take her to a place that's $200 a plate, and that's not even the highest end, but that's just decent. $200 a plate, and a dude who's taking his girl. Hey, you can get anything you want off the value menu. I mean, come on, man.
Isn't like Morton's Steakhouse? Isn't that like $200 a plate?
No.
No.
Pretty... It's high end, but it's not. It's not $200 because I've eaten there numerous times because they have Ruth Chris and all that type of stuff near.
Overly expensive.
Well, it's near where I live because I live in the DC metropolitan area. They have all that nice stuff. Ruth Chris is nice. It's not $200 a plate. Like generally speaking, like the highest end restaurants, they don't even have the prices on the menu. They don't. Like you just open it up and like typically speaking, one of the places I went when I graduated was Fogo de Chao. Graduated college was Fogo de Chao. And Fogo de Chao then, and this was like not 20 years ago. This was almost 15 years. No, exactly 15 years ago. Fogo de Chao then was like $75, $80 a plate. But you get all the meat and all the salad you want. Like they just keep on bringing you meat until you tell them to stop. Like by the time, if you don't turn your thing over so they stop coming to you, right? Well, Fogo de Chao is a Brazilian. It's a Brazilian steakhouse. Yeah, it's a Brazilian steakhouse where they bring the meat out to you on these swords. And if you have your thing up that's green that says to keep on bringing, they'll keep on bringing you meat until your stomach explodes. My pants are around my ankle because my stomach kept on expanding because you kept on bringing me meat. But I'm a carnivore, so I'm okay. That was like $80 a plate. Now it's probably like $120, $130. But that's still just per person. I think if you go with a group, you might be able to get a Groupon if you're lucky for like $100 per person. But like my point is this: if someone takes you someplace like that, that is a nice dining experience. That's Microsoft buying stuff. Then there's Sony. Hey guys, you want to go to Applebee's? Let's go to Applebee's. And then there's Nintendo. They're like, look, I can take you to Ruth Chris. The rest of the time, we're just gonna eat at home.
Yeah,
we'll eat at home. We'll just eat at home. Damn it.
Yeah.
I want to go to McDonald's. I'll make a McDonald's hamburger at home.
It'll taste 10 times better.
It'll be better than McDonald's. Hand me a green bell pepper. Hand me some meat. Hand me 2 slices of white bread. But that's not a hamburger bun. It'll be better than McDonald's. That's Nintendo.
Yeah.
And then you get the hamburger, and you're like, this is better than McDonald's. They weren't lying. Sony can invest as much as they want. They're like, we're gonna invest $1 billion into Epic Games. Yeah, considering the Epic Games got like I think 30% of their company is owned by Tencent or some Chinese company. Like, people are looking at this like this is a big deal. I'm looking at like Epic is bleeding money because why do they keep on taking outside investors' money?
Yeah, I think it's because of Apple going to town on them because they decided to fight Apple.
To quote the guy from Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, they chose poorly.
Yeah. Apple blew their back out. That's for sure.
Yeah. Apple did. Apple blew their back out with no lube.
Yeah.
So they're like,
so it's like, oh, we need money.
As draw as it gets, buddy.
I don't know why they were surprised because the DNA of Apple is Steve Jobs, and Steve Jobs was a piece of S.
Oh yeah, he was
big major.
He was not a man to be played with. That's for sure.
He was vindictive. He was mean. He was vengeful.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, oh, I'm surprised that a company created by a man who's that mean and vicious. Wow, this company sued our pants off. Really? You're surprised by that? The DNA of Apple. Why?
I was about to say.
You're cutting out, Joel.
Yeah, what?
I said, I'm surprised that they're not wearing barrels.
I mean, the thing is, Apple isn't going to go that hard because Apple, Epic, so many games on the Apple, it's not called on the Apple Arcade, like on Apple iPhone, uses Unreal. Like, they're not gonna kill the golden goose, unlike Epic, which tried to kill the golden goose. Because, what people don't realize is that Apple makes a ton of money just from passive transactions from their arcade, from the e-commerce. Apple has one of the most, if not the most profitable online electronic shop in the industry. And people are like, oh, yeah. Like, you think Apple's gonna let a pissant company like Epic mess with their money?
No.
Oh. Well, something going south.
No one's gonna let someone mess with their money like that, especially not Apple. Okay? No one's gonna mess up their money, but no one's gonna let Epic mess up their money. Especially when they were in the wrong. They were friggin' they friggin' created they created a thing so that they could so that it would basically take people out of like out of Apple's ecosystem, so then they could spend money on the Epic cash shop without giving Apple their cut. Now, I don't like Apple. Anyone who's been on my podcast, been on any podcast I've been on, where people are like, I love Apple products. I hate Apple. I think
was
they're
going to
trash.
say that both of them are. I was going to say, I thought you were going to say both Epic and Apple were trash.
I mean, I think Epic is worse because Epic like basically just wants to circumvent the rules. Like they want the benefit of using someone's marketplace without paying them their cut. Like if you owned a digital marketplace, okay, and people were using it as a spot where they could vend stuff, wouldn't you want your cut?
I mean, yeah.
I'd be asking for my cut on the spot.
And honestly, they probably, I know what they were trying to do, but there's probably a better way to do it.
I mean, man, they were tired of the 20% cut Apple took, or was it 30?
30%.
I can't remember. 30%. 30% cut. But here's the thing though, right? Apple has this huge ecosystem that you're using that you don't have to pay any maintenance or upkeep. You just give them their 30 cents for every dollar, and you don't have to spend money on that ecosystem. Why are you complaining? Like, it's like if you rent an apartment, right? And the apartment is one of those apartments where the rent and utilities are included. The utilities are included with the rent. So basically, like, you don't have to pay separately for all that stuff. You just use what's already there. Why are you complaining? Like, I don't want to pay for my, but you get access to all this infrastructure without you having to pay extra for it. Like, why are you complaining about that?
Well, the thing is, it's just they yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and do agree, because honestly, you do have to spend money to create an apparatus anyway. But at the same time, they just wanted to be able to essentially sideload their game, which Apple is heavily against for obvious reasons, because they want that 30%. They don't want to have, because we already sideload stuff on your computers and laptops and stuff. It's essentially going through other means to get software. It's not like you have to go through the Microsoft Store to download Steam. You just download Steam through Google Chrome or Firefox or Internet
but
Edge or whatever.
But Steam is an open OS. Like Apple prides themselves on being a walled garden, right? That's their big thing, right? And you pay for the walled garden and you get certain amenities and infrastructure with the walled garden. And like I said, I don't like Apple. I don't like their products. I don't like their hardware. I don't like their software. I don't think their products are very good. But just from a fairness standpoint, like let's keep it 100%. Epic basically created a workaround so that like people could spend money on Fortnite without giving Apple their cut, and that they violated the rules of to be on that marketplace. That's the way it is. If you violate the rules, that's what happened. They violated the rules. There's nothing. There's nothing you can say except they violated the rules. That's the end of it.
And I think
they had the price.
And their campaign is really was really kind of slimy, a little scummy, just because they were trying to get kids on board with their campaign, and I just
Yeah,
thought they went about it the wrong way. Was
we're doing this for the gamers. This is about the game. No, it's not. You're both greedy multi-billion-dollar companies. You're both greedy multi-billion-dollar companies. You're doing what's best for your bottom line. It has nothing to do with the gamers. The only gaming company, the only company that I've actually seen where like some of the stuff they do is actually for gamers is Steam.
Mhm.
And the reason why I'll say Steam is because Gabe Newell has a lot of say in what goes on over at Valve. Because when people ask him, hey man, what about NFTs? He's like, we tried it for like 6 months and it turns out most of it was just really scummy people doing scummy stuff. And we don't want that type of like we don't want that type of business in our marketplace. So we banned it. It's like, you know what? I can get behind that. At least you're honest about it. you know? So many people, BS people about it. He was like, yeah, it was scummy. We didn't like it. We banned it. I can get behind that. All these other companies just, they do shady stuff all the time. Apple included. They're there to make money. All right? Stop trying to make it, oh, they care. Like Epic did the same thing. Oh, we're doing this for the developers. No, you're not. You care less about the develop. Okay, let someone reverse engineer Epic the Unreal Engine so that they don't have to give Epic their cut once it sells over a certain amount, and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's move on to the next topic. So a mocap, a mocap actor who played Kratos, who mocap Kratos in the God of War 2018 game, was caught in his hand in the Kiddy jar allegedly. So
Oh no.
he was he was talking uh, explicitly to a minor, and he basically came out and said it's all lies. This is all fabricated. I found this interesting because this was the second person that at Sony was uh, caught doing this. So
Messing around with kids.
messing around with kids,
Uh,
allegedly messing around with kids.
Think of the children.
So I kind of, so I kind of wonder. I kind of wonder if there's some more uh, closet pedos over there at Sony, and a lot of these other companies in general. Because I think there was somebody at Nvidia a few months ago that was allegedly caught with their hand on the kitty jar. So yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
I,
What are you guys' thoughts?
I don't think this is a.
oh boy.
I don't think that this is a closet pedo thing. I think that you probably have the same statistics as every place else. I think the issue is that it's more visible because it's a game that has a lot of universal acclaim and stuff like that. Because when I first heard, they were like the God of War mocap actor. I'm like Christopher Judge because I'm like, oh, that's the new guy who took over that spot. But no, it wasn't Christopher Judge. It was the other guy who did the mocap for Kratos in on that show. And I mean, in that game, and I'm like, okay, well, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, yeah. I just you know I always find it interesting. It's like when you risk it all like this, like you have a cushy job. Sure, you make a decent amount of money off of those royalties, and
I don't think they get
And then he
royalties.
risked screwing it up
they
for that.
they don't get
I don't think they get royalties.
oh
Not unless you have a really good contract or a really good uh, contract or a really good guild or whatever. But I don't think they get. I don't think they get royalties. Unfortunately, because I mean, like if you're a developer or someone who worked on a character, and you work on a game and it sells like millions of copies, you should get a cut, but it doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
Oh, well, I mean, it ruins your to have that in your resume that you were a mocap for or for Kratos for God of War.
Yeah,
He's like that's
that's a feather in your
that's
cap.
yeah, like it was a highly acclaimed game. Like
Yeah.
you just kind of just ruined your resume, just ruined yourself. But
Yeah,
doing
I
stuff like
mean,
that.
yeah, but pedophilia is a illness. It's a sickness, like alcoholism. There's something wrong with people's brains who are into that type of thing. Because there's something wrong with someone who sits there and says, "Yes, I want to sleep with a child."
Yeah.
Because people who have small kids who get into bed with them, they're like, "Look, I can't wait until this mofo is old enough to sleep in their own damn bed." So, like, no one with sense wants to go with a child unless you're a pedo, in which it's a big deal for them. I don't know why. Don't ask me. You know, I, I've taken some courses, some psych courses, but if you ask me to explain why someone would want to go with a child, I could not tell you.
Yeah.
I was about to say that kind of psychology is kind of deep, and I really appraise you for enduring that.
Well, I mean, if you want to get a good grade, you do what the what the professor tells you. But it's just like one of those. It's one of those things that I like. Okay, you can give me the technical reasons as to why someone would be attracted to a child, and I can intellectually listen to it and be like, okay, I see where you're coming from, but I still can't understand why. Mostly because I'm not a pedophile. I have no interest. Like, I'm one of those people that when I was 12 years old, the girl I had a crush on was 14, and the reason I had a crush on her was because she had the body of like an 18-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
like
how
I
it
like
goes.
I like tall, curvy women, like women with an emphasis on women. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even like short women. Like if you're shorter than me, I'm kind of less interested. So so the idea of someone I like children, I'm like, why? I don't get that.
I think a lot of it is more the control aspect. A lot, children are very impressionable. You can control them.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think it's partially a power aspect. Just like rape isn't a crime about sex; it's about I can control this person.
yeah, it's about how it's about having power over somebody. And yeah, it definitely is a sickness. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, I have no idea why that dude did it. I'm just for when I heard about the headline, I'm like, I thought it was the black guy who took the voice of Kratos, Christopher Judge. I'm like, oh no, it's not Christopher Judge. It was the dude who did the mocap. I'm like, thank God, because I just didn't want to see another black person go down. I was like, oh God, please, not
I
Christopher
was about to
Judge, no.
say it's bad enough that we already have Chris Rock and Will Smith going down that mess. We don't
Well,
need.
you mean Will Smith?
Yeah,
Because Chris Rock didn't have anything to do with it.
I was saying that those two already have a mess started up. We don't need another one.
Yeah, but different. That's a different thing.
That's a
Other
different mess
than
entirely.
yeah, that's an entirely different thing than like someone getting slapped publicly by someone who doesn't know how to control their temper is a completely different beast from from some dude trying to molest children.
Yeah.
Um,
Very true.
so, but I was just like, thank God it's not a dude. It wasn't another black person. I was like, thank God, please, please, God, don't let it be another black person. But it was just some jerk, some d bag.
Well, um, so a new entry has hit the Nintendo, uh, Nintendo Online service. the premium service,
Huh?
Mario Golf 64, and the interesting thing about it is they removed a certain feature from it. They took out the code entry screen um, that allows you to play special tournaments. And one of the speculations I heard is that um, it they they were afraid that there might have been some kind of exploit on the thing that would have hacked the that could have allowed somebody to hack the switch, or a whole host of different other reasons. Maybe it had something to do with the net play, or maybe it has who knows. But yeah, they removed it. So how do you
I
guys feel
mean,
about that?
I think maybe just like maybe the software emulation they're doing just probably didn't support it, or maybe like the software emulation just wasn't really holding it like it down. Because the thing is this: there are things that might work in theory that might not necessarily work in you know.
Your mileage may vary.
Well, because we all know, like, okay, we all know that like the emulation for all of these like all these consoles are using emulation. The Wii use emulation, the Wii U use emulation, even the GameCube for like Zelda Master Quest and stuff like that. Those weren't ports, those were emulation. It was emulated on the GameCube software. And to be honest with you, Zelda Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and the Master Quest versions of those games on the GameCube ran poorly because the emulation wasn't great. Um, like, and this isn't just a Nintendo thing. This is like the PlayStation Classic. The emulation was trash. For years, At Games made mini consoles for the Sega Genesis and the Master System that were trash. So I mean, and here's the thing: the N64 has been notoriously difficult to emulate. It's still not great, even now. It's better, but it's not great. So I wouldn't be surprised that maybe inputting a code might not work, or they might not be able to get. They might add it later, but I mean,
Yeah, they could add it as a special version instead of typing in the code to play the special tournaments. They could add one of those, because I know they have the like special games that have it's like a mode of a particular game or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but those are essentially hacks.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, look, I'm not gonna pull. This is a weak U issue. This is just an issue of software emulation for a lot of these is not great. um, Software emulation for a lot of and software like I said, emulating the NES, great. They cracked that years ago. SNES, great, years ago. Once you get to the N64, it gets harder. GameCube. I mean, I know people are like, well, the Dolphin, yeah, but the Dolphin's been worked on for over a decade.
How how's the progress on that?
If you have a good computer, it's great. But the thing is like, you know, you need a good computer with a good CPU and a good GPU because all of the heavy lifting, it's brute forcing the emulation. And you can't really brute force things on a console. Uh, it just doesn't work that way. So, I'm not saying it can't be done, but it just it's just one of the issues of having a console. It's not gonna you can't brute force things like that on a console. But with that being said, I mean anything's possible. Like I said, they could fix it. They could add some better they could fix it later. Hopefully, knock on wood. I'm not holding out hope because I mean like Nintendo, like here's the thing: Nintendo doesn't have any incentive to make their emulation for their consoles, the old emulation for their consoles better because, um, like people are willing to spend $50 to play these old games in a not a great format. Like they have a big enough install base that it doesn't. They have no incentive to do better. So why should they?
Yeah, yeah. Um. All right. So for anything else you'd like to say before we go on to the fourth topic? No. All right. So for our fourth topic, um, No More Heroes is coming to everything.
Hmm.
Near the I think near the end of the year, middle of the year, sometime in the near future, it's gonna be on everything. PlayStation 5, Xbox, PC. It's definitely probably getting it there. Um, and yeah. So what do you guys think?
Um, for me, I'm a little mixed, but I could at least understand it because there's a difference between the quality that one could get with exclusivity and the quality that you get from sending it to all over the place.
Yeah, it doesn't really necessarily bother me. It came, it was a Nintendo. I guess they had an exclusivity deal, like a year long
Yeah,
exclusivity deal,
yeah.
and you know, it it's just how things are these days. Like it's just it just seems like a lot of exclusives are just temporary, unless unless it's Nintendo's first party stuff. That'll just stay that'll just stay on Nintendo's consoles. Um,
Forever, and they deserve it because
yeah,
it's theirs.
yeah,
You know,
Mhm.
it's like Microsoft owns ZeniMax now, which means they own Bethesda, and they're like, look, you want to play the next Elder Scrolls game, you gotta own it on our hardware. You gotta play
yeah,
it on the hardware, and it's first party. They can do whatever they want. It's theirs.
yeah,
And if you can't understand that, well, that's on you.
yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to uh the whole No More Heroes 3, what people don't need to understand before they start getting angry um and starting some mess is that game did not perform all that well on the Switch. Um
They didn't really, yeah, they didn't really push it that much. But so No More Heroes has been
it's been diminishing returns.
it's been kind of
It's been
underwhelming.
going down with the first game sold the most. The second game sold not like I think maybe like 70% of the first game, and the fourth game sold like less
A
than that.
portion less than the second.
Like the third game is didn't sell, even though the Switch when No More Heroes 3 was released, the Switch had a higher install base and a more engaged install base than the Wii. So that just tells you that the audience for like it could have been marketing, it could have been the audience isn't there anymore. I don't know, but like it just didn't do that well. So I mean, what is Grasshopper Manufacturing supposed to do? Oh yeah, this game bombed, but we need to stay loyal to the console that it bombed on. That's
Um,
stupid. And here's the thing: I say this as someone who bought No More Heroes 1, 2, and 3,
yeah,
but it didn't do well.
yeah,
Okay, so I mean, what are they supposed to do? Just sit there and oh yeah, this game bombed. Let's keep it on the console that it bombed on for console loyalty. Look, these companies are businesses and they want to make money. People don't make games just for themselves and to make a small fan base happy. They're trying to make something that will make money so that they can make more games. So unfortunately, I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that, but they wanna get paid, and I'm not going to get mad at them because they want to get paid. Because I mean, if you worked on a job, wouldn't you want to get paid for doing your work?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just you want to they probably obviously they want to get paid and they want to keep making games too. So if they're able to if this is able to help bolster their sales, um, honestly, because I think they'll see some sales on PC, but I don't think they'll see as much on Xbox or PlayStation because I don't think those people are into those wacky games. They're not as adventurous. They don't seem to be as adventurous when it comes to those kind of games.
Those niche ultra Japanese games. Yeah, I think it'll do okay. I think it'll probably sell most on PC, maybe. I think the Xbox crowd, because the current Xbox crowd is different than the Dude Bro crowd that used to be, because the Dude Bro crowd jumped over to the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Um, so I think. No, go ahead.
And also, a lot of people that wanted a PlayStation 5 just ended up getting an Xbox Series X because it was available. That's that's one of the reasons the Xbox Series X or the Series consoles were outselling the PS5 is because they were available.
Yeah, and I also think the Series S also just is more affordable than the PS5 right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, um, like the more people who are into No More Heroes, the happier I am. No More Heroes is made in Unreal, so Unreal is a very scalable, portable engine. So I mean, I'll probably double dip and get it on PC just so that I can have a higher frame rate.
Yeah. Same here.
Because playing it on the Switch, playing it in docked mode, it's not that bad. But if you try to play that game in handheld mode, oh, good God, that is a miserable experience.
It's a mess.
Mm.
Playing a lot of games on it. Like if you're playing like smaller games that aren't resource intensive, it's not that bad. But playing like games that really push the limits of the hardware in handheld mode, oh man, it's a miserable experience. It took me back to when I was a kid and I had a PC that was not quite powerful enough to run a lot of games, so I'd run them as really really poorly. And I just had to deal with it because that's all I had at the time. I'm like,
Yeah, I remember. I had a laptop that just had integrated Intel graphics, and I just had to play games with the. You just had to live with the Intel integrated graphics. Yeah, I understand that.
yeah. But I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, look, you're not going to have everything, as we all know. You can't have it all. That's gaming. You're not going to have it all. And if you think you're going to have it all, you're living in a pipe dream. Um, so yeah, I think that over time it'll get better. But I mean, it's going to take a while. That's what I'm saying. It's going to take a while. It's not going to be. I hope. I really do hope that the game does well on other platforms because. I mean, for all the stuff these fake Nintendo fans were talking, yeah, I love No More Heroes. Y'all didn't buy it. I'll tell you that much.
That's how they are with Metroid. Yeah, I love Metroid. It's one of Nintendo's finest games, and then Metroid comes out, nobody buys it. It's like, okay, what? Wait, what?
I love Metroid. It's like, really? Well, did you buy? They're like, I love Metroid Prime. Okay, did you buy Metroid Prime too? No, I didn't. It's like, well, if you love something, then why didn't you buy the sequel to the game that you love so much?
So weird. It's weird. I just feel like, yeah, the same with Sony fans. It's like, oh, we really want this game. We really want The Last Guardian, and then nobody bought it. It's like,
yeah, but okay. I mean, Last Guardian's not a fair example because that game came out too late.
Yeah.
Like that game was taken too long and it came out too late because you can lose you're like a game can lose steam, and that game lost all hype that people had because people have moved on.
I mean, I guess I kind of agree with you. It's just, I know everybody was just wiping their eyes with tears of joy when when that game was announced at E3 2015. It was like,
Yeah, but when did it come out? Like 2019, 20 like.
Yeah.
It was like a 5, and that game came out on the PS4 when it should have been on the PS3
yeah,
because they just waited too long to get the game out.
Hmm.
You know, I know some people will be like, but
yeah,
insert reason here.
yeah. You're right. That game did come out a year later. It came out. It came out 1 year late, practically. Yeah, it came out 1 year, little over a year later when it was announced. So yeah, I see where you're coming from. It was too late.
Okay, that game they should have released. No, they should have released the Last Guardian. The same year they released the Eco and Shadow of the Colossus collection on the PS3. That should have been a PS3 game. Because then people are like, hey, the Last Guardian is coming out this year, and if you aren't familiar with, if you in order to remind you about the story, we have the Last Guard, we have Eco and Shadow of the Colossus HD collection on the PS3. That was the perfect time to release that game because it would have been fresh on people's memories. But Sony loves effing up like that. They do that all the time.
I remember there was that 1 year where they announced a slew of first party games, and I think only like one of them sold pretty good. That was Uncharted 3. That was the only game. That was the only exclusive they pushed too. I remember when every time I turned on YouTube, I would see a commercial for Uncharted 3. That was like the only game they pushed. They didn't push any of the other games, barely. Like, oh, whatever.
Uh,
Um. All right, so I guess we'll move on to free topic. Is there any topics you guys have that you have that you'd like to share?
I got a couple, but I'll let someone else go first.
um. Well, if anything, I'm trying to actually think of this real quick. What was it? Um. Have you heard of how hard Babylon's
Oh yeah,
fall?
Babylon's Fall is Stephen King.
Yeah, that is an
Stephen
apt
King.
name because the install base fell too.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's like only
the
40
player base
people.
is
Only
10.
10 people that still play that game.
10. Yeah, 40 was 2 weeks ago. It's down to 10 on Steam.
Yeah. Wow.
That is just sad.
Wow.
But I don't blame Platinum. I blame Square Enix for desperately trying to. We're gonna force a live service game, even though we're gonna get people to make a live service game that no one wants.
Yeah.
I thought if anything, that you guys will at least have a good laugh at it because of how hard it fell. I mean it fell harder than NFTs. I think.
I mean, I wish. I'm not gonna go that far because you know I don't want to. I don't want to. How can I put this? I don't want to. Um, Because I mean, I feel sorry for like I have sympathy. Oh, I don't. I shouldn't say I feel sorry. I have sympathy for some of the like. I have sympathy for Platinum because from every review I've seen of this game, like the same thing that hurt the Avatar game that they made for Activision hurts this game. Where like everyone's like, yeah, once you fully power up your character, like this game is great. You get the platinum that you feel. But who wants to spend 20, 30 hours to power up their character in a game that's not fun to play until you spend those 20, 30 hours doing that? Like that you know, that's not a fun gameplay loop. And that's the problem with this game. And like all those changes to depower your character and not make the combat fun, that was mandated by Square Enix because they wanted people to grind in the live service aspect in order to make a live service game. And the sad thing is that they already have a model for a live service game in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, that took years of maintenance and building and, you know, goodwill, and they had to destroy the game first before they could rebuild it into something worth playing. And Square Enix doesn't want to do that. They want a live service game like right now instead of laying the groundwork for a live service game.
Because Final Fantasy 14 was a complete disaster. And then somebody else took over and listened to the fans, and it took years to get that game to where it is right now.
Yeah,
but whoever's manning the ship over there at Square Enix just doesn't have any patience for that, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really kind of sad. It's one of those things where it's like, man, this is really sad.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I like Platinum. I like their games. I like that Platinum is like a more polished From Software, where their games are unapologetically Japanese. Like, Platinum makes games typically for gamers. Like you play a Platinum game, you can tell this was made by someone who likes playing video games. And I can't say the same thing about a lot of other games. Like you play a Ubisoft game, you can tell that the people who made that game do not have a passion for playing games because the way that game is designed, it's like clearly you are not happy about this game.
Yeah.
Like you don't care. You are not happy about it. And I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that, but come on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ubisoft gives you like busy work. It's like, hey, here's a side quest that has nothing to do with the main quest. Go do it for 35 biddies. Some stupid junk like that. Yeah. You're like, why is this here? Oh, we want to give you something to do because, like playing a Ubisoft game is like, remember when we were kids and you'd be in elementary school and the teacher would have one of those days where they would just give you a worksheet so y'all would be quiet for 45 minutes till class was over? Yeah. Just busy work. That's what Ubisoft games are. Busy work to make you feel like you're playing a full game.
Yeah.
And you mention that and they get angry. It's like, oh no, we make good games. No, you don't. You make busy work.
Now, what are your free topics? I'll go last.
Yeah, well, I was saving this for tomorrow, but why the heck not? So
I was gonna say, if you got more than one, then you could at least let one go.
I mean, okay, fine then. So recently it's come out that someone over at Sega has greenlit a movie based on Streets of Rage.
Oh no.
No, considering that right now, look, I didn't want to say this, but having seen Sonic 1 and 2, and I say this right now, Sonic 1, the only reason that movie is good is because Jim Carrey is in it. If you took Jim Carrey out of the Sonic movie, it would be trash. But Jim Carrey elevates that movie into being something good. But then Sonic 2 came out, and Sonic 2 is legitimately a good video game movie. And then, after hearing the news about what Nintendo's letting Illumination do with the Mario movie, I can already tell that the Mario movie is probably not going to be that good.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that good either. I mean, to be outdone by Sonic, that's going to be pretty funny.
This is going to be one of those things where the old adage Sega does what Nintendo don't is going to be true, because Sega's actually going to make it.
I haven't heard a single thing out of the Mario movie. So far, I have no peeping clue what you're talking about.
What, you didn't hear that Chris Pratt is going to be the voice of Mario?
That was obvious already.
You didn't hear that Charlie Day, the guy who played Charlie in something from Philadelphia, that show with filled with those terrible people. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's gonna be Luigi. Like already, like, because that's what Illumination does.
You guys are not salty about the voice actor choices.
I am.
You guys aren't. Salt.
I don't.
I'm sorry. I can't take you guys seriously there.
The reason that I am I'm not salty. The reason I am wary of the voice acting choices is because basically Illumination doesn't really make good movies. Like what Illumination does is they get one or two big celebrity voice actors, and then they just let them do whatever the hell they want. And occasionally it works. Like Despicable Me. The first Despicable Me is a pretty good movie. Despicable Me 2, also pretty good. I mean, it's not quite as good as the first movie, but it's still pretty good. But then you get the stuff like the Minion movies, which are terrible. The problem with Illumination is that they lean too heavy. They lean so heavy on celebrity voice actors that they expect the celebrity voice actor to carry the movie, and they don't worry about actually making good writing, compelling story, interesting animation. And it's sad because like just last week I saw 2 animated movies that are not made by Illumination or Pixar that are really good. Like I said, Sonic 2, good movie. I mean, I wouldn't say it's great, but it's pretty damn good. And then I saw The Bad Guys from DreamWorks, and it's also really good. Also has, look, I'm not a furry, but there is a female fox in The Bad Guys who is just You see the big bad wolf in that movie. He's like, I'm like, yeah, we all know what you're thinking.
Huff and puff and blow her away.
Yeah, he'd be huffing and puffing. There wouldn't be no blowing on his part, probably. But what I'm saying is this: just hearing how Nintendo has made changes to Mario's character, where they're like, well, he's 26 years old. That hairy short mofo, really, for real. Basically, the way the more I hear about the casting for the Mario movie, I'm thinking this might be an animated version of Popeye the Sailor from the 80s, where that movie de-aged the character in order to make it more compelling, but that kind of doesn't make it fun. To me. I think it would be hilarious to have a Mario movie where Mario and his brother, Mario's in his early 40s and his brother's in his late 30s, and they get drawn into the Mushroom Kingdom, and how they're just blown away by all this weird stuff happening, and they just can't believe it. They're Mario's like, Luigi, look at this. Maybe we took something, and Luigi's like, I don't know, Mario, but we need to get back home to Brooklyn. No, we're gonna get. We're gonna get stinking what's his name, Star-Lord, and Charlie Day, and it's just and the voice of Bowser is Seth Rogen. I'm like, this is terrible. The more I hear about it, the worse it gets.
So your concept of that movie is kind of like the Japanese animated movie that they made years ago.
Could be like that, or it could start like that and then swerve, like where you have Luigi talking sense to Mario. Mario's like all like running full tilt and stuff. Yeah, Luigi. It's like, no, Mario. Look, I just want to go home, Mario. Like the whole thing. He's like, I just want to go home. Like that could be awesome. No, we're gonna get some
Yeah,
BS.
you guys on
Typical-
shrooms.
We're getting the typical Illumination BS we get from Illumination. And they're going to use the Mario IP to do it. And that's kind of sad, but, I mean, here's the thing. I'm saying this as someone who, when I was a kid, went to go see the Super Mario Brothers movie. And I turned around on that because I abandoned, as an adult, because I abandoned it as, this has to be a one-to-one, it has to be just like the video games. It doesn't. Because it was live
That's
action.
the funny thing. I never expected that movie to ever even be close to the video game.
I did because of marketing, but
this is from somebody that actually saw it when they were little too. So, oh boy, we got different standards.
Yeah, we do. But in hindsight, went to go see the movie, and here's what I'll say about the Super Mario Brothers movie. But considering how terrible the casting is for the new one, and how Nintendo has retconned a lot of stuff about Mario to make him more appealing to little kids, which is stupid. So it's like, so basically, it seems like we're gonna the most lore friendly Super Mario Brothers movie might be the live action one with Bob Hoskins.
It's already friendly to little kids the way it is. I mean, the way it is. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, like I said, they did this with the Popeye movie because in the comics and the cartoons, Popeye's 43 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, he's like approaching middle age. He's got missing teeth. He's got those bulgy ass. He's ugly. He's not very attractive. And then they make the Popeye movie where they de-age Popeye. Well, now he's 33, and he's not fugly as heck. He's just goofy looking. It's like okay, we have to soften this character. No, the charm of the character, the charm of Mario is that he's this little short, like no one knows what he's saying, Italian plumber. That's what makes him funny, and he's doing all this insane stuff, but he's just a plumber.
Yeah.
That's the charm of the character. No, we need to get Star-Lord to be the voice because he's hot right now, and his brother is we're gonna get Seth Rogen to be Bowser because he's hot right now. I'm like, stop. Just stop. Stop. Stop.
Oh,
Stop.
Everybody just needs to
Stop. Not to mention Nintendo kind of abandoned doing Mario IPs when they stopped doing the Mario animated series in the first darn place. They had like 4 Mario animated series, dropped all of them, and we didn't get anything for years.
Yeah.
But now they want to do a movie. Yeah, we need to do a movie, but we're gonna just retcon everything to make it more appealing to little kids who don't care anyway. Because I was one of those kids who used to grow up. The reason I like eating canned spinach now was because when I was a kid, I fucking watched Popeye all the time. And guess what? I didn't care he was a 43-year-old man.
Yeah.
I just want to be strong. No kids
I'm more
I can't
grounded
play
than
Mario.
you are when that happened.
I can't play Mario because he's remember when Nintendo did that, made that game? I think it was released that game where they had the alternate costumes for like Wario and Mario and Luigi, and they took off their shirt and they weren't hairy. Like, what Italians do you know aren't hairy as heck?
Yeah.
That'd be unattractive. I know, that's the point. They're ugly. Mario, Luigi, and Wario are ugly. They're supposed to be ugly. That's the point.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm thinking that the Mario animated movie is probably not going to be very good. Because people inevitably are going to draw the comparison. Well, did Nintendo make a better animated movie? I don't think I don't think they're going to be able to do better than. I don't think they're going to be able to do better than the the Sonic movies, the 2 Sonic movies, because there is no Jim Carrey to bind this stuff together.
Oh.
There's no Jim Carrey to be like, look, I know what this is, and you know what this is, but I'm gonna kick it up to a level where you're gonna have fun. There's nothing there. There's nothing there to make this that level of fun, and you know.
Well, yeah. I'll wait until the first trailer comes out, and you know.
Yeah, if anything,
Then I'll see if I'm.
I can at least judge by what they offer before the movie comes out, as in the first trailer.
I mean, don't get me wrong; it could be some hot garbage when I see that trailer, but.
I mean, like, here's the thing: Illumination.
It couldn't be worse than Sonic 1.
Illumination. Well, the first Sonic 1 trailer that was just terrible. They had that fugly human-looking Sonic the Hedgehog with those teeth. Bad. I was like, why would you do this? Who signed off on this? It was like, yeah, this is good.
I was surprised that they changed it, because a lot of these movie companies would have doubled, tripled down, but they were like, yeah, we really screwed the pooch on this. Back to the drawing board.
Yeah, they were like, well, this cannot be like the Super Mario Brothers movie. This will not be like the Super Mario Brothers movie. This will not be like that. We will not go down that way. Yeah, like the Super Mario Brothers movie is like it's widely considered as one of the worst video game movies ever. Personally, okay, if you're a kid if you're a kid in the 90s, going into it, like, your parents bought you a Super Nintendo and it came with Super Mario World, and you're expecting, man, they're going to translate Super Mario World into a movie, like I was as a little kid, because you're a stupid little kid. You don't understand marketing and budgets and how movies are made. You go in there, you're just going to be totally disappointed. As an adult, I can go into Super Mario Brothers movie and see, oh, so they basically turned Super Mario Brothers into Blade Runner and Max Headroom. That's actually kind of cool. It's cute. The idea is cool. The execution sucked. Yeah. But it does have a lot of Super Mario Brothers lore in there that is used to be true to the character. Mario's kind of ugly and short. Mario and his brother are called Luigi Mario and Mario, and therefore they are the Mario Brothers. This is true. The Koopa King is in control of a highly technologically advanced society. So I don't know why Princess Peach is a terrible ruler, because her kingdom's constantly being invaded by a highly technologically advanced society, and her defense plan isn't an army, a navy, an air force. Her defense plans are no, not even the mushrooms. Her defense force are 2 ugly short plumbers. Could you imagine if what's going on in Ukraine, that was Zelensky's defense? It's okay, everybody. I've got 2 fat plumbers from Italy. They can take on everything. They'd take him out and lynch him. And they'd be right to. Princess Peach is a terrible ruler. I keep on telling people that. They're like, no, I like Princess Peach. She's a terrible ruler. She's god-awful. They need to
say, she's the definition of a DID.
What?
She's the definition of a DID.
I don't know what a
damsel in distress.
I mean, I guess, but when she's not in distress, she's a terrible ruler. She's just terrible. Like her administrative practices of running a country are terrible. Like, she's just like, really, like, the Mushroom Kingdom needs to have a revolution and behead her. I can see it now.
Yeah,
Princess Peach, the kingdom has been invaded for the umpteenth time, and the people are starving. Let them eat mushrooms. That's it. Take your ass out here. Cut off her head. Off with her head. Off with her head. Except they don't cut her head off. They tie her up and tie her to a stick and head first, and they hold that stick closer and closer to a piranha plant. The witch is, because I think at this point anyone could be a better ruler than Princess Peach.
Yeah.
Think about, I mean, even play Mario Odyssey, right? Like,
if anything,
Daisy,
I would
Doc
say
City,
this, that she is a total beep in that game.
in every game, New Donk City is attacked and invaded, and Daisy gets some help, gets the power back on. Sorry, yeah, Pauline, she gets the power back on. She gets stuff back in order. She's like, yeah, we need to get this stuff taken care of, because Pauline is a woman about business. Princess Peach, my kingdom's been invaded. Yeah, I'm going on vacation. Bye. Like, damn, you are terrible. You are a terrible ruler.
Terrible ruler and a effing beep in every direction but down.
The only
seriously,
the only game where she isn't totally useless is is Mario RPG on the SNES. That's the only one where she's not like, you are just a waste of space. Why are you here?
I would say in her own game she's not a waste of space too, but
you mean the one where they're so stereotypical that they don't give her any cool powers. She goes hysterical, starts crying, it puts out fire, she gets angry. Like when I was younger, I defended that game.
Yeah.
Like, this is cool to have a female protagonist, but now that I'm older, I'm like, you couldn't come up with anything cooler than she's too emotional and that's how she uses her powers. I
always figure it as she's gone off the deep end that little bit when she has to do the saving instead of being the one saved.
I just thought that was a really poor, it was a poor implementation of having a female protagonist. And I know, look, I understand, because Nintendo with their Mario games, they don't care about story or setting, it's all about the gameplay. And the gameplay in that game is actually pretty good. But, like,
Oh boy, how they used it was kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, the screen wasn't good, but the idea behind it was, the gameplay, the level design is pretty good. But man, that is so misogynistic. And not in a good way. It's like, well, actually, there's never a good reason to be misogynistic, but I'm like, you couldn't think of a better way to have a female character, to empower a female character, other than to make her emotional? Like, really? That's your idea to make a strong female character, is to make her emotional? Really? That's where you're going? That's why Other M failed for me, because I'm like, you're gonna make Samus into an emotional, stupid person? And not the badass she's been in all these other games? Really? That's how you're going to tell the story? Okay, all right. Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, that's my topic. That was my free topic. I don't think from the rumblings I've heard from the Illumination film, I don't think that it's going to be as good as. I don't think it's going to be as good as Detective Pikachu. I don't think it's going to be good as the two Sonic movies. It still won't beat the king of video game movies. The one that's so bad it's good, which is Street Fighter the movie.
Oh man.
The so bad it's good is Street Fighter the movie. The so bad it's the one that's actually kind of good, legitimately, is the first Mortal Kombat. And I don't think it's going to be good as either of those.
Yeah, you might be right, but we'll see. I guess. But yeah, here's my free topic. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 release date trailer Nintendo just released it today or yesterday. Probably today. Thought this game was gonna come out in September. They announced this game coming out in September. But turns out it's coming out in July, like near the end of July.
Yeah, but July 29th is kind of like... I mean, it might as well be August.
But...
Yeah, it's like August. It's coming out in August.
I just found it funny just because I was like, Nintendo, are you alright? You usually push games back, not forward.
Yeah, but probably their big game for this year, for the fall, is going to be that Pokemon game.
Yeah, probably.
So... and they don't want to cannibalize sales from the Pokemon game to the Xenoblade Chronicles game.
Yeah. But looked even better than when they first showed it, at least in my opinion.
Yeah,
do you
but
guys think?
I mean, I saw screenshots and I'm like, eh. I mean, at this point, I just want them to bring back features they had in previous games. Like, I want to be able to wear, like, put on different outfits and to actually, like, have my characters look reflect me putting on different outfits. Can we bring back the ability to target different body parts of enemies so that we can disable their ability to use certain attacks
Yeah,
or cripple them?
yeah,
If this is just a prettier version of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 where a lot of depth and complexity has been stripped out, I'm not interested. So I'm not going to get this day one. I'm going to wait until the reviews come out and like I've seen people play it and like look at the nuances of it because I day one Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and I don't regret that because I do enjoy the game, but man, they stripped out a lot of gameplay features from that game that were in Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and X, and that's not cool.
yeah. Anyway, that's all we have. Like to give our intros, and we can call it a night.
I thought it was outros.
Or outros, not intros, but outros. Sorry.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us at Project Console. We'll see you next time at Tuesday, or if you follow Mr. Red Fox, the BS Busters tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will be covering such topics as what are/is your criterion for a bad game or a good game, and do the hot take of Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past versus Breath of the Wild, which is better and why. That's going to be a tough one. And the final topic will be obscure retro titles we feel should be given a little bit of love. Now, the criterion for this is going to be old PC games, old console games, handheld games, etc. So, like old stuff, stuff from like the 5th gen, maybe 6th gen, and older. So stuff that you're like, well, I don't think people would play this. And we'll finish that up with unpopular opinion, and that's going to be tomorrow from 7:30 to 9 o'clock. Also, we have the BS Busters cast Saturday as well at the same time, different day. So look forward to that.
Alright, that's all for my Kiddy Jar.